All right, guys, good morning. We are live in our pre-market analysis. We are recording for our YouTube channel as well, so that it can be used for studying purposes and for any reference, and also for anybody that wants to check us out. You could check us out through the YouTube channel, and then come day trade with us if you like what you see. So Taj and I, every morning we do this pre-market analysis. And it is time to get going. We've got 25 minutes before the bell opens. And Taj, do you want to kick it off, or do you want me to kick it off?
Hey, you got it, man.
All right, dude. So I've got a couple names here that I'm really liking this morning. The first name being Apple. So Apple has already ripped, and I was waiting for. I was hoping that Apple would kind of consolidate here on this flag formation, right? It just popped right out of the 128.57. It's already at 129. So unfortunately for us, we're going to have to wait a little bit for the setup, because what Apple is doing right now is exactly what I wanted it to do at the open. But like I said, we obviously trade heavily with options contracts. You can't trade until the opening minute, 9:30. So for Apple, we're going to have to wait for a pullback here. Maybe some consolidation, maybe a bull flag formation, and then we can take it long. But right now, it's just a beast. So we're unfortunately missing that action. But Apple is still going to be one of the top plays for today. Another name, AMD. AMD right now is only about 50 cents away from its all-time highs. I like the gap up. The market is strong. We've got a Federal Reserve yesterday that essentially said they're going to do everything in their power to continue to stimulate the economy. So stocks are just on a rally, and AMD is a name that was very strong the last couple of days. We played AMD on that rip right here, from the 96 to about 97.70 area, and I think this stock could potentially have another run into it. It did sell off yesterday, recovered, and now it's gapping up. So for me personally, I would love to see AMD break above 97.50. And then I think we have a run to 97.99, or actually $98. Yeah, nah. Apple has just literally left us. So literally, Apple has just gone. So it's unfortunate that things like that can happen in pre-market, because that's exactly what I knew was going to happen today at the open.
Yeah.
So needless to say, it's still going to be in play, guys. We just have to wait for maybe a pullback. Nice, maybe profit taking, then reversal back up, or a bull flag formation. So we have to be in a position where we are patient with our entry with Apple. Don't rush into it.
Yep.
Another name potentially is Tesla. So Tesla, we've got today and tomorrow before Tesla goes into the S&P 500. So right now for Tesla, it did pop a little bit. I would love a pullback, maybe to 623, 624 area, then a curl to go back long. But if Tesla wants to rip higher, if Tesla breaks above 628, go long, and I'll probably put my stops right here at 625, 626. So the range is good. It's tight. We're talking about 2 to 3 points on Tesla, which is not bad at all. So I like Tesla's setup here. I think there's going to be a lot of volatility with Tesla as we get closer to tomorrow, due to the news that it's going to join the S&P 500. So another name, RAD, R-A-D. RAD reported earnings, closed yesterday at 17.11, and it's gapped up now to $20. It is setting it traded as high as 21.30. Now it's sold off a little bit to $20. So I would love RAD to break out of 20.50. Possibly, depending on the volume, depending on how strong the setup is, we could take it long, put our stops at $20 or 19.88 if you want to give it a little bit more room, and let's try to retest the high of 21.30. If it rips past 21.30, man, we're going to be in a good shape, and then we can adjust our stops, right? We could trail our stops as we move it up. So that's what I like on RAD. If RAD breaks below 19.88, then I'm not going to touch it. So I just want to see continued momentum on this name. Mara is another name that's gapping up. $9.80. Yesterday it closed at $8.23. It's a cheaper name stock. So, and it has a short float of about almost 20%. Let me use here the bot. So I want to see the short interest on Mara. It's about 19.34%. So that can help, right, with the pop, with the squeeze. All the shorts are getting squeezed out of this name. So if we see Mara break higher than $10 and 10.10, I think we have a good opportunity to test, 10.27 and then potentially 10.61 and rip higher. If it just sells off, then I'll lose interest on it. I really just want to play the gap and go strategy with Mara. So let's see if that occurs. Another name that I really like is DraftKings. So let me pull up DraftKings here. DraftKings, what happened to my chart? DraftKings is a name that I would love to see if it has more continuation from yesterday's move. So the governor of New York expressed that there's a possibility that they would allow, or legalize the gambling, right, in the state of New York. And yesterday, DraftKings had a major move, right, as we can see here. So I would love to see, man, if DraftKings has another day in it, right? Now it is, it's not gapping up significantly. It's only up like 10, 20 cents. But this is a name that I'm just gonna watch, right? It's kind of gonna be like on one of my B lists. So if DraftKings can trade higher than 54.43, I think we can have a nice entry point to take it long. But if it just sells off, then I'll lose interest on it and just wait for maybe some bottoming action and then a curl to go long on it. Other names that I'm going to keep an eye on, Airbnb. And the reason why for Airbnb, guys, is because, let me pull it up here. Airbnb had a really nice move yesterday on oversold conditions from the IPO. If you pull up, the daily chart on it, let me pull up here the daily on my chart. Okay, for some reason it doesn't want to do it. There we go. So on the daily chart, it was getting oversold, right? Since the IPO day, it had 4 days of just sell-offs. Yesterday was the first bounce on it. Airbnb opened up at $146. So I would love to see if Airbnb can retest that 146. Right now it's gapping up nicely. So if Airbnb trades higher than 143, we can go long. And I'll most likely put my stops at 141.57. So you're risking about $1.50, right, per share on this trade. But I think there is some momentum here that we can play. One name that I'm really excited to trade is ROKU. And I'm sure a lot of you are excited about that one as well. So ROKU, starting today, they are, I think they're streaming HBO Max now, right? ROKU, look at the beast of a move they had, right? Just pull up the last month, but also just look at yesterday. I mean, a month ago, this stock was trading at $210, and it's trading now at $345 in pre-market. So we've got a monster move, and ROKU is a stock that can really make or break you, right? So we've got to be careful with it because ROKU does sometimes tend to pull back hard, really hard. But ROKU also, as we've learned, Taj and I, trading ROKU for many, many times, ROKU loves to rip right out of the gates, make a hard pullback, and then probably curl back around. So I would love to see ROKU trade right out of the gates, break above 348, and just rip higher, right? Right now, if I pull up level 2 on ROKU, let me see what's in the print. Yeah, man, look at that. We got 345, 346, and then what's next? 362. So would ROKU trade up to 362? I have no idea. However, if we if we see that buying momentum really kick in, the volume is strong, and the chart is just, it's a freight train. Don't try to short this thing. Just ride with the wave. So for me personally, I would need to see a break above 348 for me to get interested in it, and I'll probably put my stops right here at 344. If this can sell off a little bit more, like maybe 340, I would love a basing action and then a curl to go long. So I marked 340 and 336 as two levels from yesterday's after hours, right? As you can see here, 336 was the bottom of that bull flag right here, and 340 was a little bit of basing action here that occurred right before the after hours closed at 8 p.m. So I know I mentioned a lot of names there. I'm sure Taj maybe shares a couple of them, but those are my favorite names. And my A list is going to be Apple, Tesla, AMD, Roku, Airbnb, and DraftKings. That's going to be my A list. So Taj.
Yeah, man. I like a lot of those names. A lot of those names, especially Apple. Apple, it was setting up nicely during the pre-market. You just had a huge rally, actually, almost a point out of this base that it was forming right here around 128.40 and 128.60. So that was kind of unfortunate because it looks like we were going to have about a 20-30 cent range to look to catch the Apple long. So that would have been an excellent trade out of the gates. However, as Alex was talking, it just ripped to the upside. So we are going to have to be patient with our entry in Apple. However, I think Apple is still going to present some great opportunities today.
Yeah.
Because if you remember from the past couple of days, we've been talking about Apple. We've been trading Apple. We broke out of that key level, that 125.40, 126 level that's been serving as overhead resistance for about 2-3 months now. So when you're able to break out of a range like that, especially a stock like Apple, you can really see it go on a multi-day run. And maybe we can even test the all-time highs, especially with the market doing so well. I think the market is gapping up right near its all-time highs as well. Actually, it is. It's gapping up into all-time highs. S&P's at 371.80s. The all-time high was 371.16 yesterday. So you have a lot of momentum going in with this play as well. So that's going to be a great sign. As long as the market can hold and maintain these all-time highs and continue that rally, I think Apple is going to follow suit. Another name that I really like, very similar to Apple, is actually Microsoft. Microsoft had a very strong day yesterday, and Microsoft had some overhead resistance right here at 219.10. And yesterday it was able to break and essentially close right at that level, right, 18 cents right above that level. And now you're actually having a small gap up right above that level as well. So if Microsoft can continue that momentum, I really don't see any resistance on the daily chart until about 228. Now, I'm not saying Microsoft can hit 228 today, but there's no major resistance as far as a daily chart goes until that 228 level. So very similar to Apple. Apple needed to break through that 126. Microsoft, same thing, needs to break through that 219. So let's see if it can maintain that level today. So if the market wants to rally, Microsoft can be another play that we're looking for. If at any moment we miss the opportunity on Apple, or if Apple doesn't give us the cleanest setup, we can always look for Microsoft as an alternative play. Another trade that I really like, actually Carlos mentioned a few moments ago, is FSR. So FSR is gapping up on some news. It looks like they're entering into definitive agreements with Magna. And if you guys remember, FSR was a trade that we made a killing on about 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
When it shot up into $20. That was like one of our best trades, like of the month probably. So FSR, we already know, has a track record of when it runs, when it has a big day, it can have a really big day. So we have some positive news coming out about the stock, big volume coming in on a lot of these candles. During pre-market, we have nearly 200,000 shares being traded during some of these candles, and it looks like it popped about a point. So I just want to keep an eye on it and see if that momentum can continue right as the market opens. So that's kind of going to be on my B list right now. A list, I have Apple and Microsoft. Another name that is right there on that A list as well is AMD. So what I really like about AMD, like Alex mentioned, is that it's coming right near that all-time high, right? Actually, today would form a bull flag if it's able to break out above that $98 price range. What I really like about AMD is what happened yesterday. So AMD actually started off the day pretty bad. It sold off. It actually approached yesterday's low, came 1 penny away from the prior day's low. Sorry, not yesterday's low, but the prior day's low. And then rallied all the way back up. So it actually formed a bottoming tail bar on the daily chart. Now, what does that tell us? The bottoming tail bar tells us that the stock, more often times than not, is going to continue upward momentum. We have a stock that's right near its all-time highs. We have, the S&P gaining, the entire market gaining momentum to the upside. This is a great setup for a stock like AMD to not only hit that all-time high, but let's see if we can get the ball rolling and really get some momentum. So AMD for me is going to be right up there on that A list because I think if this can really break out and get on a run, AMD has a lot of potential to continue that momentum.
Yep.
Another name that I like to watch is BABA. So BABA was a name that we mentioned actually a couple days ago when it formed that bottoming tail bar on the daily chart. And we mentioned how BABA, if it's able to hold that level from a couple days ago, BABA could go on a run because it's been a name that's been so beaten down. And then on the daily chart, you were going to have that double bottom form. And all we needed was that confirmation. Well, yesterday was that confirmation. Yesterday, BABA pretty much opened at its lows and closed right at its highs. And then guess what happened this morning? Gap up. We closed right near 262. BABA's now trading at 265. So what I really like about BABA is that it's now gapping above its 20 MA and its 8 MA, which was serving as resistance on the daily chart over the past about 3 weeks to a month now.
Yeah.
So if we're able to break out of this bull flag that it's forming during pre-market, I mean, who knows where BABA can go? BABA is one of those stocks as well. When it goes on a run, it can run. Especially you have this double bottom confirmed from a few days ago. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw BABA at 278, 275 within the next, week or so.
Yep.
So let's see. I just want to keep an eye on BABA and maybe catch some potential longs here if we have the right setup. Another name, this is probably the last name for me that I want to keep an eye on, is just the S&P. I think the S&P, the overall indices as well, are extremely strong today, as well as the Qs. Those are two of the names I'll be watching. So if you want exposure to the entire market, today would be a great day to trade either the SPYs or even the NASDAQ, the triple Qs, because you have that momentum into all-time highs. Stocks are strong right now, and as long as there's no negative news that comes out, which is possible, which is definitely possible, we could have some, big news come out, whether it's, shutdowns happening or stimulus deals falling through. There is the potential of that happening. But nonetheless, I think if things start to run smoothly, that everything goes as expected, I think the S&P is set up for a prime run here. You have a long period of consolidation here over the past 2 weeks, right here at the all-time highs on the S&P. So this thing is either gearing up for a takeoff or a sell-off. So I think in the next few days, we should be able to get our answer of what exactly the market wants to do overall. But that's pretty much everything that I'll be watching today. So the top of my list are going to be Apple, Microsoft, and AMD. And then on the tier 2 list, I have FSR, BABA, and just the overall market in general.
Nice.
Okay.
I love it, man. I think we got a lot of good plays today. I'm actually switching out my DraftKings. So you know how Taj and I, we have like A list and B list. I'm taking out DraftKings out of my A list. I'm gonna switch it out with FSR because I like Taj's FSR there. I think there could be a good opportunity here. And then also one name we didn't mention is PayPal. PayPal is gapping up really nicely into all-time highs. This could be another stock that's going to be in a strong run today, man. So if PayPal breaks out of 235.47, which is pre-market highs, we can go long, put our stops at 234, and we're risking $1.50, right, on a stock, on a $230 stock. So I think the risk reward here could be pretty good on PayPal. So good stuff, guys. So once again, Taj and I, we just gave everybody, a probably solid 10, 12 stocks. Mark up your
Yeah.
charts, mark up the technicals that we identified, and that way, and pick your top 2, top 4, however many monitors that you can put on your charts. Pick your favorite ones, and when you see those levels trigger, like those buy levels that we identified, you know how to play it, right? For me personally, I can watch 6 stocks at the same time. But then my charts, every chart has about 10. So I'm flipping through 60 different stocks throughout the day, right?
Yeah.
But I can only keep my eyes really on 6. So I reiterate this every single day because there's a lot of ideas. They're pretty solid ideas. Not all of them will work out the way we want them to. But as long as you mark up your levels, we'll be okay. We'll make money. It'll be profitable trades, and it'll be a fast money-making day. So let me actually finish the recording here for our YouTube folks. If you have any questions or any comments, you can comment on the video below. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and come join the community. It's for free. See you guys.